What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So you guys have been requesting this video for a while and we finally got around to it. It is called My 50 Cal Exploded by Kentucky Ballistics. Now, he's the same person we reacted to that done the Eddie Hall video. So this will be interesting. Apparently this video, he nearly died.
Oh my god.
Which is, it's quite wild. Apparently it's like proper crazy. So we're going to check it out. But before we do, guys,
smash that subscribe button.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let's watch this video now.
What's up, everybody? My name is Scott.
Oh,
and I'm going to tell you about how my 50 cal exploded and I almost bit the dust about 2 weeks ago.
Oh my god.
So I know a lot of you are...
That scar, literally. I've not seen a scar that big, I don't think. Have you seen a scar bigger than that?
No wonder he nearly died.
Yeah, he literally nearly died. Insane.
Probably wanted me to explain my injuries, and I'm going to do that, but I think it's best we start from the beginning. I know some of you are going to try to skip around in this video. I highly recommend you stay tuned and listen to all of this. But for those who are going to skip around, let me clear something up first. This was not the Barrett that we torture tested, and this was a complete freak accident. There's nothing that I did to have caused this. So April 9th, 2021, we come out here to shoot a fire hydrant with some slap rounds using my Serbu RN50. So we have the Serbu RN50 with the 36-inch long heavy barrel, and we're gonna go ahead and go big or go home and start out with this. This is a 50 BMG slap tracer round. The slap rounds tend to go a little to the right, so I aimed a little to the left, but this one actually hit true to where I was aiming. We hit right here.
Nice shot.
And you can see that thing is smoking. And then we blew right through the back of this thing. Everything was...
It's a very powerful bullet. It went through a fire hydrant. No issues. And fire hydrants, they're made out of strong metal. They're not weak.
Yeah.
It's going pretty smooth. We shot the fire hydrant several times, but the slap rounds were acting a little funny. One of the slap rounds hit like 1.5 feet low and to the right. I say we hit it with one more slap round, but this time aim for the thickest part of the fire hydrant and see what happens.
Oh, look, did you see the bullet? It kind of went weird. Look. Hold on. Like, see where it shot? Nowhere near where he was aiming. So something was off from there.
The gun was functioning normally, as it always has. I've been using this gun for a long time now, and I've never had any issues out of it. So before all this happened, we took one last shot, and it was actually really, really cool. The round was stuck out the back of the fire hydrant. This is a 50 BMG silver red tip armor piercing incendiary tracer.
Armor piercing.
So we went through the top of the fire hydrant.
Good aim.
Good shot.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
It's just stuck out the back.
That's
After that, I decided I was going to take one last shot with a slap round and try to hit the thickest spot on the fire hydrant. So before I loaded my last slap round, I know that there was no barrel obstruction because I literally found the round in the fire hydrant. But this last round that I loaded into my Serbu RN50 was a very, very hot round, and I had no idea. And there's really no way for me to have ever that this round was as hot as it was.
Uh-oh,
we're gonna see it as well.
So here you can see me taking the last shell casing out, and now I'm loading in the slap round.
This is gonna be brutal, you know.
I screw the cap on all the way.
Oh no.
And the gun closes completely, and everything is functioning.
Seems normal.
And one thing, is something someone may mention, is maybe I didn't screw the cap on all the way. Well, you can clearly see the cap is screwed on all the way.
Yeah, it was.
This gun actually will not close if the cap is not screwed on all the way. So everything was functioning good on the gun. What I didn't know was the slap round that I put inside it was extra, extra hot, and I had no idea. And there's really no way for me to have ever known. These rounds are extremely rare, and they're very old. They're like $100 a piece. These aren't manufactured anymore, and really there's no way you can really know what's happened to them over time as they've passed hand to hand. I was under the impression that these were genuine military surplus rounds and hadn't been tampered with. So now I'm gonna actually show you what happened.
It's bad.
It's not graphic. All the graphic stuff happened after the fact, and I'm going to tell you all about that, but I am going to show you what happened just so you can see what happened to me that day.
Oh my god. So that's obviously split him open. Then all the graphic blood probably started pouring out after. So it literally exploded in his face.
Oh, that's so sad.
That's so messed up, man.
That's so sad.
And like he said, there's nothing, he's a professional and there's nothing he can do to know.
Yeah,
that
it just happened.
But that makes like me feel quite worried that like
For
there's
future.
bullets out there. I'm not saying that it's going to put me off shooting, but in general, for Americans in general, like there's bullets out there that could have been tampered with in a certain way, which makes it act not normal and to cause stuff like this, because that is mad dangerous.
So when I pulled the trigger, the gun exploded almost immediately.
Yeah,
so the first
crazy.
thing that went was this cap. And this cap is solid steel, and it is very, very heavy. If you look right here, the threads are sheared off of this gun completely. I spoke with Mark Serbu, and he said that normal pressures are 55,000 PSI. And for those threads to have sheared off and this cap to have just blown off like that, we're looking at over 85,000 PSI. So the cap blows off. It's kind of hard to put these on because of my little nose brace. I'll explain. But safety glasses are on.
He's lucky he had them on. He'll be
And this
blind.
cap, you can see this little crescent here. This cap hit me.
So if he wasn't wearing them, he would have been blind, 100%.
You can see the damage it
Yeah.
caused on his eyes though, because look, his eye is bruised.
Yeah, and his nose is battered.
Oh my
Probably
God.
broken.
Right there. I'm not really sure which way, probably more like this, but it struck me in the face.
Crazy.
When this cap hit me in the face, it broke my orbital bone in 3 spots, here, here, and here. It also broke my nose, and that's why I have this on. I've had to have
my
facial
God.
surgery to repair all this.
Yeah, that's
Here's the
nuts.
really bad part though. On this lower, normally there's these 2 ears that stick up right here. And this is what prevents you from closing the gun when the cap's not on all the way. If the cap is on all the way, it will fit perfectly right here with those ears pushed up against it. When the cap blew off the gun, it came straight back, shearing those ears
Oh,
off
broke
the
them
lower.
off. Look, you
One of
see it.
these is still at the hospital, and this is the one we found. This one zipped right past my head, went inside my hat, blew a hole through it,
Oh my God.
and took it off my head, what appears 7 to 8 feet. Now the other one is what almost ended me. The other ear hit me right here in the throat. It proceeded to lacerate my jugular vein and then punctured a hole in my right lung. As for my hand, my best guess is this is what did it. In the video, you can see that the stock almost disappears instantly. I believe it came in a downward motion and hit my finger. You have your natural bend in your index finger. Well, this bone right here looked like a V.
Yeah.
So my finger looked like a big W. So back to the lacerated jugular. I've now been hit in the throat, and I'm not really sure what happened because when this cap hit me in the face, I went blind in my right eye instantly. I have vision coming back now, and they say my eye should make a full recovery. But in that moment, I went completely blind in this eye, and it was like I had been punched. And I went backwards, and I landed on all 4s. A lot of you wonder who is behind the camera in my videos. This is my dad. His name is also Scott.
Damn.
If he had not been out here with me,
He could have died.
that would have been it for me. He come running up and he let me know of my injuries because I was still in a daze. I've just been punched in the face by a big
That's worse than a punch. No punch will be as as hard as that. He was seeing black, like, you know, when they see in cartoons, you're seeing stars. He was literally like, he was probably leaking like crazy in the neck, and he probably didn't even feel it because he was just.
You know what? I know his injuries that he has now is really bad, but he's so lucky that other ear didn't go into his skull or anything, because it literally pierced through his hat.
Look at what it done to his neck, and it punctured the lung. You know, if that went to his head, out, because it would have been straight through, and it would have done the same kind of damage to his head.
Metal cap, and he let me know real quick that there was a hole in my neck.
Yeah, madness.
And I was losing a lot of blood really fast.
Oh my God.
My dad shoved his thumb into my neck.
Have to
Put your thumb there. Now that I'm aware of what's going on, I took my left thumb, I took my shirt, wrapped it in my shirt, and I shoved it as far into my neck as possible. I was not aware that my jugular was lacerated, but I did know this is really bad. I have a law enforcement background, and I've been trained in injuries and wounds and gunshots and things like that. And I know very well that if you get hit in the neck, it's not good, because you can't tourniquet a neck. After I had plugged the hole, I applied extreme pressure, pinched my head down into my hand, and made a run for the truck. So the truck here.
He's very lucky that he knew what he's doing. He's very lucky his dad was there to like explain the injury, because he wouldn't have known until and it probably would have been too late by the time he figured it out. And luckily he's trained enough to know, like, I need to plug myself to stop the bleeding or to help reduce the bleeding, because he 100% would have made that if his dad wasn't there.
If anyone wasn't there. If he was just doing this out of leisure and wasn't recording it.
Or if he was recording it and there was just no cameraman, if he just had it on a tripod.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If no one was there to record it, like, he would have died.
Was right near us. There's a trailer attached. I had to run around the front. I jumped in the passenger seat.
Mad.
Dad jumped in, and we took off. And this all happened in a matter of
adrenaline.
Seconds. I would say under a minute. We were in that truck and just hauling tail into town. Something I forgot to mention, this upper weighs like 25 pounds. And you can see in the video that it just gets thrown off the table.
Yeah, it flew.
So much pressure came out the back of this upper that it launched it off the table. It's an insane amount of energy that was thrown into my body. So now we're driving very fast into town. I am applying constant pressure to my throat, and I'm breathing very slowly, trying to control my heart rate, because the faster your heart rate,
more blood,
the faster you're going to bleed. My dad's driving, so I thought it would be nice of me to call the ambulance. My dad didn't agree with this, but I wanted to do it myself because I wanted to try and stay awake. I needed to be doing something to keep myself conscious. If you have an iPhone, there's this nifty little feature on the side here, and if you hit that button one too many times,
it's an emergency call or something. I've seen
you'll call 911. This can be kind of annoying when you're trying to shut off your alarm in the morning, but when there's a lot of bodily fluids on your phone and you can't open it, it comes in really handy. I got on the phone with 911 and I let them know what had happened, and that we were coming into town and they were going to send an ambulance to meet us halfway. There were several times where I thought I was going to pass out. And I knew if I passed out that was going to be it, because my dad's driving. If I pass out, who's going to keep applying pressure to my neck to keep me from bleeding out? Times like this, you really need something to focus on, and I focused on my kids. I had their faces in my brain, and I just focused on them, and I fought as hard as I could. I stayed conscious the entire time.
Wow.
We met the ambulance halfway. They got me loaded up, and we took off towards the hospital. And like I said, I know that I was in a bad spot, and I don't know if you know this, but if your jugular is completely severed, you have 30 seconds. I knew that being hit in the throat, I may not have much time, but the closer we got to the hospital, the more my confidence built, and I thought, hey, maybe I'm gonna be all right. When I was in the ambulance...
The thing is, once you're in the ambulance, you're around professionals. If you do pass out, at least he's not got the pressure of my dad's driving. There's no one to sort me out. Like, if he passes out in the ambulance, they are going to do everything they can to keep him alive. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying passing out is the right thing, but if it did happen, it's in the ambulance is where you want it to happen, or the hospital bed.
Once I asked them to cut my shirt off because I was having trouble breathing, and I thought maybe I'd been hit in the chest as well. They cut my shirt off. There wasn't anything there, but when I got to the hospital, they x-rayed me, and they said my right lung had collapsed because it had filled with blood, and that was from this little guy here puncturing my lung as well. So from there, they had to intubate me while I was wide awake, and I tell you, that is not fun. Take this long metal rod with a point on it, and they stick it through your rib cage, and
man, I can't imagine.
It wasn't fun. After that, I was feeling a little better. I could breathe a little better. And then they wanted me to take my thumb out of my neck, and I was like,
it's gonna go.
We're not taking my thumb out of my neck. You just wrap it up with some tape. It's staying there. But they told me I had to take my thumb out of my neck. So they had a bunch of gauze.
I'd be quite paranoid about
I'd
you,
be
sure?
scared.
As soon as I pulled it out, they packed my throat.
Oh, they done it straight away.
When I pulled my thumb out, that's
Blood.
when I saw my finger. And they said that I audibly said, oh, that's not good, because my finger looked like a big W. They informed me after that they were going to have to life flight me to Vanderbilt Hospital in Nashville, Tennessee. Very, very good hospital with very, very good doctors. Obviously, I'm here making this video. Big shout out to Vanderbilt Hospital. You guys are the best. So now they're about to knock me out. And at this moment, I realized that this may be the last time that I see my wife or see my dad, because once they knock you out, you know,
are you gonna wake up?
That's it. Either they're gonna fix you or you're not waking up. My wife had arrived. I called her in there. I held her hand, and we had words. And then I called my dad in to pray. And after that, I remember waking up in Vanderbilt Hospital, hooked up to every machine possible.
So much.
I'm gonna throw
things on
some
him.
pictures in here. So they did a number on me. So you can see this cut here, and this actually goes all the way down
all the way down to his
to right here. To repair my jugular and my lung, they had to open up my chest completely. They cut me completely open, just like open heart surgery. They told me a guy my size should hold 6 to 8 units of blood, and total, from all the blood I lost from the initial injury and the surgeries, they had to give me 5 units.
Oh my
There was also
He lost a lot of blood.
There was also a chance that I could have had a stroke. To repair your jugular vein, they have to pinch it off. Well, your jugular vein supplies the oxygenated blood to your brain. So they can only pinch it off for so long. They pinch it off, they repair it, then after that, when they open it back up,
Could have a stroke.
all that blood rushes into your brain, and there's a chance you could have a stroke. Praise God, I did not have a stroke as well. As for my hand and my face, they had to do surgery on that as well. I have pins in my finger to hold it in place. And like I said, they had to repair my orbital bone in 3 spots. As you can see, they cut me here and right here. And they also cut inside my mouth, all the way back here to the front, to be able to get to all of those.
The fact that he didn't lose his vision and that he had basically a full recovery in terms of like the work they done on him, it seemed like it was very successful. It wasn't his time. God will take you away when he's ready to take you away, and this
That
wasn't his
day,
time.
God was on his side.
He
man.
didn't go unconscious.
Yeah.
He had full vision. Yeah, he's obviously serious injury. He didn't have a stroke when he could have had a stroke. Like everything went his way where it could. Innit?
I'm not gonna lie, if I was in his shoes, that would traumatize me from shooting a gun again. Well, something that big anyway.
Yeah, but he's not gonna stop.
Yeah, he's...
But he did say it's a free. Like he's probably been. He seems like an older guy. He's probably early 40s or something, or mid 40s. He's probably been shooting guns since like young teenager, 13 years old. This is his first freak accident, from my understanding. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like a one-off incident in the last 35 years. Yeah, it probably put him off a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be like, I'm going to stop now. He's been doing it for if you've done it for a week and that happened, you're never going to touch a gun again, but he's been doing it for too long, and this was the first time from the sounds of it.
Those spots. So I had a breathing tube in, but I still wanted to talk. I wanted to know what had happened to me and what was going to happen. Well, my nurse, Cody, shout out to that guy, best nurse ever, brought me a dry erase board so that I could write and ask questions. I wanted to talk to my wife.
Nice.
Well, he would call her for me.
That's nice.
And then I would write out what I wanted to say, and he would say it over the phone for me. And then I could sit there and talk to my wife. Also, I really wanted a mellow yellow. I was craving it so bad.
Mellow yellow, what's that?
When I was finally unhooked from everything, I remember sitting in my room, and he peeked his head in. He was like, "Can you eat and drink now?" And I said, "Yeah." He handed me a Miller Yellow.
I don't know what that
Coolest
is.
nurse ever. So for about 2 days, I had tubes coming out of the front of my chest, one tube coming out of my right side, and one
Help him
tube
breathe.
coming out from behind my collarbone to drain everything around my lungs. And I had to carry this little vacuum pack with me. They removed those really quick. I'm healing extremely fast. They
That's
kicked
good.
me out of trauma within a few days. This happened on April 9th, which is a Friday. I went home the following Saturday.
Also,
There is
very
a
quick.
lot more to this story when it comes to my injuries and everything that I had to do to overcome them. Long story short, I shouldn't be standing here.
Yeah.
I should be 6 foot under, and if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Facts.
So I know there's one big question that you're all wondering. What's gonna happen to Kentucky Ballistics, and am I gonna keep making videos?
Yes,
and
it
the answer to
is.
that is absolutely. I'm not gonna quit
Told you.
doing what I
That
love
answered my
because of a
question.
freak accident. There's nothing that can keep me from continuing on. I
That's like a 1 in a million accident. That's the reason why you
Yeah.
continue.
love
Yeah.
what I do, and I appreciate every single one of you. I am healing at a Wolverine rate. I am healing so
Love that.
fast that really a lot of people have been kind of confused at how fast I'm healing. That's God. He's healing me quick. And I'm going to keep making videos, and I cannot wait to get back out here. I have some videos planned, and I think you're going to like them. It's going to be some really funny stuff. Also, I know there's going to be a good bit of you that want to support me while I'm healing, and I really, really appreciate that. But I don't want to do a GoFundMe or anything like that. If you want to help me out,
That's
I want
nice.
you to get something out of it too. So
T-shirt.
we got some new shirts.
Just put a thumb in it.
Doctors told me that if it wasn't for this thumb, that I would have died. This
Damn.
thumb saved my life. And my wife came up with this saying. She said, just put a thumb in it. And I thought that was the funniest thing ever. So that's what we're going with. We
I
have
respect that.
Just put a thumb in it shirts. I think these are awesome. And if you want to support me, there's a link in the description down below. They're available now. Pick you up a shirt and support Kentucky Ballistics. This is not my normal content and definitely not what you expected me to post this week, but this is something I felt like I needed to let you know. Again, this was a complete freak accident, and there's no way I would have ever known just how hot that round was until it was too late. So like I said, I'm healing really fast, and I'm gonna be back to it as soon as possible. But in the
Just
meantime,
needs time.
keep your eyes peeled for some pretty interesting videos I have planned and my update videos. Before I close this video, I just wanna say how much I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for making what I do possible. And I know that the majority of you are gonna be extremely supportive right now, and I really, really appreciate that. Don't forget, if you wanna pick
That was very wild in my opinion.
That was insane.
What was your, that was your thoughts.
Like I said, that is traumatizing.
Yeah, it is traumatizing.
But because this is his passion, this is his life, like he said, he's going to continue doing what he loves.
And it's a freak accident. These things
Yeah.
don't happen. It's not like you see these stories every day. It's
Yeah.
like probably 1 in a billion bullets that would happen. Like not even a million, a billion, like if that. So I don't see him stopping for that. But wow, what a recovery. So quick. And he saved his own life along with his dad being there. Wild. Guys, thank you so much for the recommendation. That was a first of seeing anything like that. Recommend any other videos you want us to watch. And make sure you hit the subscribe button. For now, peace out.
Bye.